Before this video starts, I'd like to mention that I am not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, but instead BlueStacks. BlueStacks is a free Android emulator that you can use to play Azur Lane on your PC instead of your phone. If you're interested, click the link in the description below or the pinned comment. See you guys around. Hey! Ender or FBI Pinup back with a new quick video discussing the new update that dropped today. Now, before I get started, I will just have a quick mention that I already did my builds, as you can see by this Victorious right here, so there will be no builds in this video. As a quick mention, I do have my own Discord server, so the link is in the description as well as the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's get into the patch notes. The first things I'd like to mention can be found in the shop tab if you go down here to the left corner, the first being the skins. Obviously, there are new additions, such as this very hot Live 2D Sirius skin, which I really want to buy, but I will save it for something that's even better than this soon. I don't really know which one it is yet, but once that comes, I will buy it. Of course, you've got this match list right here, that's very cute. Got a trendy Fiji over here, and your Benkyo Study Teacher Sama Swiftsure right here. Of course, the rerun Winter Crown skins are also here. And wow, whoa, that Duke of York skin is really nice. So you can also buy that too. If you go back to this shop tab right here, and then you click munitions now, once you go to core data, you can find that there are new ship additions to the core data shop. As always, don't buy these ships, they're not good, and they can be just as easily obtained by farming these stages of the levels that they are dropped in the War Archives. So in this case it would be Musketeer and Fiji. You can get them on certain stages of the War Archives, which I will be explaining right now. Speaking of the Winter Crown War Archives, it is another event that can be played to get some of those past ship drops. I personally need to farm this since I missed Winter Crown actually. So you can do this by clicking Battle, and then on the bottom left corner, right next to the hard mode icon, click War Archives, and right here, Winter's Crown. So in Winter's Crown, there are no special equipments that you can get from here. So if you are farming these stages, it will just be for those ships. So one that you can get is obviously Fiji. You can find Fiji in A3, which I did not unlock. You can also get her in C3 right here. And luckily, I actually did manage to get her while I was farming. So as you can see, well, right here, Fiji. So instead of buying her in the core data shop, you can just get her from, luckily, getting her on a stage right here. You can also get Fiji on D2, and next up is Musketeer. Musketeer can be found in B2, and D2 and D3. Finally, Jamaica can also be found in B1, D1, and D3. So finally, the last ship that everybody wants, obviously, is Duke of York. Duke of York can be found on, obviously, D3 and B3, on the boss node only. I will be doing a review of her towards the end of the video. Now right here, you can see that the Metal Exchange Shop has been updated, so that there are 5 new ships that you can go and purchase and have a chance to see. Them being Belfast, Edinburgh, Noaki, Issei, and Hyuga. So the 2 ships out of the 5 here that I would definitely recommend you would buy, if you don't have them already, are Belfast and Hyuga. So Belfast is very good, she's an excellent vanguard, because she has 2 very solid abilities as well as very solid stats. The first being Burn Order, which is a very solid HE damaging skill that increases her damage by a very solid amount, and her other being Smokescreen, which has a chance to go and boost the evasion of your entire vanguard fleet, giving them great survivability. So she is a wonderful vanguard to have, and you can put her in any fleet. The other would be Hyuga, as you can see right here. Hyuga is the excellent backline that is the only very good aviation battleship. So she has skills that can buff firepower for the whole backline, such as Artillery Command Main Fleet, and she also has another firepower buff, Cover Fire, that boosts her firepower even more. Her retrofit skill, Melee Artillery, fires a special barrage that is similar to Saratoga's that allows her to deal damage to suicide boats, and it also gives her a very solid DPS boost. Now all of this is in a very solid package of a blue ship rarity at 13 oil. So she is excellent for her oil cost, and she is just a very good ship in general. Finally, the last thing before we get into the ship reviews is going to be that the construction pool has been updated, so Belfast and Edinburgh are no longer available in the heavy construction and special construction. However, they still are available in the light construction, so if you do want to pull these two ships, just go and do the light construction instead. Now, before we get into the ship reviews, let's just go and have a brief mention to Chapter 10 hard mode that they also just released. It is absolutely fantastic because you will receive even more core data, and there are two very good stages to farm here, being 10-2 and 10-4. Now 10-2 is very good because it drops Honolulu, who is a ship with average stats, but she is an insanely good waifu. Now of course 10-4 over here is amazing because it's where Jinsu drops. Now since Jinsu only drops from the boss node, hard mode maps will allow you to farm this stage much easier for her once you get the threat level to safe. That is because of the hard mode mechanic, that when it is on safe and you click go, it will automatically get rid of all the mob fleets and you will go directly to the boss fleet, as you can see right there. So since she only drops from the boss fleet, this will save you a ton of oil and time, so you will be able to grind for her a lot more efficiently. Finally, getting into some quick ship reviews. First up we have Victorious. Victorious is another illustrious class carrier that has an illustrious class bust size. She has incredible artwork that makes her look like a goddess, and she is top tier waifu material for these reasons. However, her stats and her skills make her just slightly average. So she has the slowest reload out of all of the other carriers in Global, even slower than the blue and gray rarity carriers. Combined with her mediocre skills, she is usable, but she is nowhere near the best. Her first skill, Victorious Song, will increase her damage to battleships, which is not really a special skill. Both Essex and Centaur, who are top tier carriers, also have this same exact skill, except the only difference is that they only get a 10% boost, and she gets a 20% boost. But the only difference between that is that they have an extra airstrike thing, where they get additional planes, but Victorious does not. Now, that damage reduction in the second part of the skill is also not really too big of a difference. You won't really find a really substantial change in gameplay from that. Now her second skill, Assault Carrier, can be compared to Enterprise's Lucky E. However, her skill right here that has a 25% chance of dealing double damage is insanely lower compared to Enterprise's Lucky E, which is sitting at 70% proc rate. So if you would go to dock and then find yourself your Enterprise, hopefully, you can see that our Lucky E has a 70% chance to deal double damage. Comparing that to Victorious, she only has a 25% chance at max level. So this insane difference in proc chance means that she is highly unreliable for this skill, so that makes her a lot less viable as a solid carrier. Next up on the list to be reviewed is Sirius. Sirius is another Royal Navy maid that is yet another top tier waifu. However, unlike Victorious, she is a very solid light cruiser that can excel in certain stages. Sirius has a very solid AA stat, and she can also equip destroyer main guns, as you can see right here. You can just equip destroyer main guns that have a higher DPS than light cruiser main guns. Now her skills boost a lot of stats even further, with a high emphasis on having extra carriers in the same fleet as her. So Mark of Sirius right here, which is her main skill, it increases the aviation of any other carrier in her fleet, as well as giving very good accuracy buffs to them, and for every carrier in that same fleet as her, she gets a very solid personal firepower, torpedo, and reload boost as well. So this will give her a very solid boost in performance, combined with her extra cover fire skill that increases her firepower by an extra 20%. Now, as you can see by this, she is a pretty solid ship. because if you do have 3 carriers, as well as this cover fire skill, you will get a massive 41% firepower boost. Obviously, you're probably not going to have 3 carriers in the back, but that potential for her just makes her a very solid option. Now, the next one up in this list is Swiftsure, who, as you can see by my cubes and my gold, you know what? Let's do our last 2. Anyway, as you can see by, So anyway, as you can see by my cubes and gold, I tried to get her and I failed. So anyway, just look at some Winter Crown gameplay in the back as I explain her. So Swiftsure is another Royal Navy light cruiser that is also a solid vanguard. Her stats and skills are both very good. Her first skill has a chance to boost the whole vanguard's AA stat, which is a great perk to have on Chapter 13, making her a very strong candidate for the vanguards there. Along with this, she also gets a small firepower boost too, which is always very nice to have. Her second skill is good on any stage. It raises her crit rate, giving her more DPS, and it also boosts her own accuracy. Now the great part about this skill is that it reduces the evasion stat of ships that she hits, meaning that it will be easier to hit targets such as destroyers with their very high evasion stat. These skills that are both useful in any situation, along with her very solid stat line, make Swiftsure a very good ship as well. Now also with that, I don't have Duke of York either. She is a solid vampire waifu with good stats too, and she is available, as said previously, in both the event build pool as well as a rare drop from B3 and D3 in the Winter Crown War Archives, which I am trying to get to right now. She is yet another solid battleship that is one of the few ships that can slow the enemy. Now this slow is very useful for dealing with fast moving bosses such as the destroyers on 9-4. However, her ability that shoots a slowing salvo that targets the furthest enemy from her makes it a lot less reliable than someone like Monarch, for example, who slows anything that her barrage hits. This skill is also on a 20-second timer that cannot be controlled, so it may not even hit the ship that you want to target. Her other skill provides a substantial damage boost to her first main gun salvo, as well as making them take a little bit more damage for the people that are hit by that main gun salvo. Gameplay wise, this will only make a difference during the boss battle, as most ships in a mob fleet, will die to any battleship salvo anyways. Of course, a special exception goes out to Chapter 13, which there are plenty of high priority targets to hit in a mob fleet, such as the overpowered carrier ship that sends out airstrikes. As a disclaimer, if you are using her for a boss battle, this will mean that you will have to save her salvo all the way until the boss appears, which may result in a loss of backline DPS. Regardless of these small downsides, Duke of York is still a great battleship nonetheless, and I would recommend her to farm if you need a good battleship. The last notable addition to the build pool is Sheffield. She is the one and only no pantsu wearing Royal Navy maid, and this fact was confirmed by her artist. She is another solid vanguard ship with decent skills, and she is of course outclassed by higher rarity ships such as Belfast, the new Swiftsure, and Sirius, but if you don't have top tier light cruisers, Sheffield will always be a solid option with that damage reduction boost that she can provide if you meet those certain requirements. And with that, the other purple people, being Matchless, and the other blues in this new gacha are not that good, and they are more towards being a collector ship rather than being a usable ship. So I will not be covering them in this review guide. With those ship reviews finished, that will wrap up my video regarding the new patch notes that dropped today. As always, if you found this information helpful, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions that need to be answered, and I'll try my best to reply. Don't forget to join my Discord server, and with that, that's all I have for this video, so have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!